Hello, my name is Chris, and today I'd like to share with you a few suggestions that you may find helpful if you are wanting to quit smoking, if you are thinking about quitting smoking but keep putting it off. This is something I see talked about in the comments of my other videos from time to time. It's something that I've had conversations with people about. People will say, you know, intellectually I know that quitting smoking is the right move for me. I just can't seem to make that move. I can't seem to get started on my quit. I keep putting it off and I don't know what to do. And I've been thinking a lot about this, and I've been thinking a lot about the kind of things that I do to help me if I keep putting something off, how I get started with it, and how that could apply to quitting smoking. And I'd like to share my thoughts with you in this video. The first thought being about how much power and emotion we attach to our quit. You know, I said before that we make such a big deal out of quitting smoking. We build it up in our minds of, oh my goodness, it's this huge thing that I've got to do. And then we have that ceremonial last cigarette that we attach all these emotions to. And it very quickly, the very thought of quitting smoking can become quite overwhelming. So it's no wonder we start putting that off. And a lot of what I'm going to talk about is about just stripping it of its power, or tackling the quit in the smallest way possible that isn't as overwhelming and that doesn't sound like such a huge deal. But before I get to that, I want to address this thing of quitting smoking is something that I've got to do. You know, we say, I have to quit smoking. Well, no, you don't have to, you get to. You can choose to. You can make a decision that is good for you. Nobody forces us to quit, just as nobody forces us to smoke. I can't imagine anybody watching this video has someone in their lives who handcuffs their hands behind their back, forces a lit cigarette into their mouths and makes them smoke it. And if they do, you know, then that's clearly a much bigger issue than I can address in this video. So nobody is forcing us to do this. We are privileged to be able to quit smoking if we want to, because we are in control of our lives and our bodies, and we can choose to make this helpful decision for ourselves. And what I think about, and this might sound a little bit harsh and I don't mean it to be, is if we are not choosing to actively quit smoking right now, then you know what we are choosing is to continue smoking. And I put no moral judgment on that. Do whatever you want to do with your body. But given the choice between not smoking and smoking, if we are choosing to smoke, then it comes down to what I talked about last week, about those consequences. Every decision that we make has consequences. And it's a question of, am I prepared to live with the consequences of my inaction? Am I prepared to live with the consequences of continuing to smoke? Or would I much rather, you know, dive into my quit, knowing that it might be uncomfortable for a while, but also that the consequences of that quit are much greater for me? And again, I hold no moral judgment on that. It's just, that's what it comes down to. What are we choosing to do with ourselves, knowing that we are in control and that nobody is forcing us to do anything? Okay, so let's address this idea of overwhelm and how we build quitting smoking up into such a huge thing, and how we can bring it back down into something much more manageable. talked a lot in the past about how we do this. You know, we say to ourselves, oh my goodness, I can never have a cigarette ever again for the rest of my life. Oh my goodness, how scary is that? Very. And it becomes overwhelming, and then, you know, and we put it off. The truth is actually, it isn't that, oh my goodness, I can't have another cigarette ever again for the rest of my life. The actual truth is, I no longer have to smoke for the rest of my life. But let's put that aside for now. The rest of forever is so overwhelming, then, you know, we've said, let's just break it down into the smallest manageable increments. Maybe quitting smoking for the rest of forever is too much. So how about we just quit smoking for this week? And if this week is too much, let's just quit smoking for today. Not even 24 hours. From taking our head off the pillow in the morning to putting it back on the pillow in the evening, let's just quit smoking for this small amount of time. And if that's too much, make the time smaller. Maybe we quit smoking until dinner time, until lunchtime, until breakfast time. Maybe we quit smoking for the next hour, the next half hour, the next 10 minutes. And obviously the idea is, you know, if I can quit smoking for 10 minutes, I can quit smoking for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And it becomes a game then, you know, let's turn it into a fun game. How long can I go? And if that isn't working, then, you know, maybe we just quit just a little bit at first. You know, we talk about breaking it down into these little manageable increments, but then it's like, let's make the increments increasingly bigger and bigger and bigger. So let's put that idea aside and quit just a little bit at first. Chris, I just can't possibly imagine the idea of never having any more cigarettes. That thought is unacceptable to me. Okay, so what about just, instead of quitting all cigarettes, just quitting the one cigarette? Well, that's a little bit more acceptable to me. What about if instead of having no cigarettes throughout your day, you just drop that one cigarette? Maybe it's the first cigarette in the morning, that after dinner cigarette. Drop one cigarette from your day for the next couple of days. Or how about if you smoke, you know, I used to do this, I used to be like every hour I would have a cigarette. So maybe, you know, let's make it every 2 hours. Or maybe every hour and a half, and just do it in these small incremental little bits. And there is no more pressure and there is no more commitment than that. I'm not saying drop one cigarette out of your day and then drop the next one and the next one and the next one. In time, yes. When it's been a couple of days and you've gone, actually, do you know what? I've not had my usual morning cigarette for like a week now, and nothing terrible has happened. I've been a bit uncomfortable, I've had a little bit of withdrawal, but you know, the world didn't end, my house didn't blow up, hopefully. You know, nothing happened badly, so maybe I can then drop the next cigarette and the next cigarette and the next cigarette in time. But for now, there is no more commitment. I'm asking nothing else of you than drop one cigarette, or extend the amount of time between those cigarettes, and just see how that goes. It's a way in. It's a start. It's lifting one foot up and putting it down in front of the other one and getting going. And from there, once you have gotten going, once you have gotten going, then you can decide where you want to go from there. And you know, there'll probably be people listening saying, well, you know, if I only drop one cigarette, then I've still got all the others and it's not really helpful and it's only a really small little bit of action. Yeah, but surely a small little bit of action is better than no action at all. Surely doing something, no matter how small it is better than doing nothing at all. So let's start with that. Just do a little bit. And when you're ready, you can say, do you know what? Hey, I've started to quit smoking. Therefore, now I can carry on because I've proven to myself. I've proven to myself that I can let go of this one cigarette. So if I can let go of one, I can let go of more. If that doesn't quite work for you, if the idea of quitting just a little bit isn't quite resonating with you, maybe this will resonate more. Stop waiting for the stars to align. I think if we wait for the stars to align and we wait for the universe to gift us the perfect circumstances for quitting smoking, we may be waiting a very, very, very long time. It may never happen at all. Obviously, there are some circumstances when it is going to be easier to quit smoking than others. If we have absolutely nothing going on in our lives and we can just sit on the sofa and pull the rug over our head until the quit goes up, until we've successfully quit smoking, great, do that, but that's probably not realistic. You know, they'll say things like, well, I want to quit smoking, but work is really stressful right now. And as much as I empathise with that, I also want to ask you, is work ever not stressful? If you get over this big project at work, is there not going to be something else down the line that is another reason why you're putting off your quit? You know, things are really busy at home and there's everything going on. But that's what life is. Stuff goes on and we have to get through it. And again, I know some of this I feel a bit cruel saying that, but if we just keep waiting for these perfect circumstances, we're probably never going to get there. And sometimes we have to just say, screw it, let's do it, and go forth. I was thinking about this week. I've told you before that I really enjoy running, and a couple of days ago I really wanted to go for a run. I was looking forward to it, but it was raining so hard outside. I mean, which of course it is. I live in England, you know, it's always raining hard. In fact, we don't even have a weather report. We just have this bloke that comes on TV once a day and goes, yep, still wet outside. So anyway, so it was absolutely just hammering it down. It was beating on my windows, and I kept looking out the window going, maybe later. I want to go for a run, but maybe later because it looks awful outside. And then I'd look again and it was still awful, and again and it was still awful. You know, eventually it occurs to me, it's never going to be not awful outside. I might as well just put my running shoes on, put my sexy high-vis waterproof thing on that I have, and just go out into the storm and get it done. And that's kind of what I'm talking about, is the perfect circumstances may never happen, but just get prepared and go into that storm anyway. And if we do that, here's the thing, if we can quit smoking when there is stuff going on in our lives, if we can quit smoking when things are stressful, then imagine what we can get through in the future. Because work is really busy right now. Yeah, I know. I do, trust me, I know. I'm in the middle of that myself. Work is really busy right now. Yeah, but if we can quit smoking when work is really busy, imagine when something even more huge comes upon us, and we can go, I can deal with this. I quit smoking whilst doing that stupid project at work. You know, as long as we just get prepared and go. Obviously, you know, like with my running, I would have much preferred it to have been sunny and warm, not too warm, but you know, nice and bright, and have the roads all to myself to go out and do this perfect run. But no, it was dark and it was wet and it was miserable, but I did it anyway, and you know what, it was quite good fun afterwards. So sometimes we just have to say, just, you know what, screw it, let's do it. This might not be perfect, this might not be pleasant, but it is worth it. That could be catchy, couldn't it? It's not going to be perfect, but it is going to be worth it. Put that on a t-shirt. Another thing we could do is to use rewards. Obviously, giving up smoking is its own reward. We get so much good stuff out of this. And I've talked all the time about how we need to get that really vivid mental picture of what life as a non-smoker is going to be like for us. Why are we quitting? Because we want to be healthier. So what does a fitter, healthier, happier you look like? How is that going to feel? What difference is that going to make to your life? Quitting smoking because, oh my goodness, it's so expensive. Someone in our Finding Freedom Facebook group was saying in Australia it's like $35 a pack for cigarettes. Oh my goodness. You know, so imagine all that money we can save. Yeah, but it's not just about I'm quitting smoking to save money. What difference is that going to make to your life? What are you going to be able to do? What will you see? What will you feel? What will you experience as a result of no longer spending $35 a time on cigarettes? And use that as a power. That in itself can be such a powerful motivator for getting going. When I'm just talking about that run that I went on, you know, one thing for me that really got me going is I want to do another marathon the next time we're allowed to go and do things like marathons. So I've got this really strong visual image in my head of me running a marathon and doing well and everything being successful. So I'm like, yeah, I really want that. To be honest, I just want to cross the finish line and get the medal, but I really want that. So that's motivating me to keep going. The same with smoking, and I can't stress that enough, to build up that positive visual image of what I want and then go for it. But if even that's not working, use those external rewards because it's better than nothing. Okay, I'm going to quit smoking for today, and today I'm going to, by quitting smoking for one day, I'm going to save £10, $35, whatever it may be. And I'm going to use that. I'm going to buy myself something that's really good and really nice for me. I'm going to quit smoking till the end of this week. And then on Friday night, I'm going to treat myself to a lovely relaxing bath, a takeaway, whatever it is. I'm going to quit smoking for 1 month. And at the end of that 1 month, I am going to go to the beach. I'm going to do something that I really want to do, and that is my reward. But I can only do this if I get to that goal point. Try using those rewards. And if that doesn't work, try this. Just realizing that quitting smoking isn't something that we have to actually start. Because how do I start quitting smoking? Well, you don't. You just finish smoking. You extinguish that last cigarette. You realise the packet is empty and you throw it in the bin, and that's it. And when I say that's it, it's not, you know, I talked before about we make it into this huge ordeal. Let's get rid of the ceremonial last cigarette. Let's get rid of this. I've thrown the packet in the bin. I am done. This is such a big dramatic moment in my life. No, you're just throwing that packet in the bin the same as you've thrown every other packet in the bin, and then you go about your life. Unless you are actively smoking whilst watching this video, and I know some people are, and that's, you know, again, no moral judgment, but unless you are doing that, then you have already stopped smoking. The moment you extinguish the last cigarette you had, you've technically stopped smoking. That's it, you've done. The only thing now is to just not start again. To just get rid of the cigarettes, throw the empty packet in the bin and go, okay, that's it. And just strip all that power and all that emotion out of it and just, this is it now, I don't smoke. I stopped smoking. Now I am embracing being, developing into a non-smoker. And it might not be pleasant. For some people, quitting smoking is the easiest thing in the world and causes them no problems at all. But those people aren't the kind of people that are watching my videos. Some are, some like to just come and go, quitting smoking was easy for me, so and that says more about them than it does about us. But for some of us, quitting smoking isn't pleasant. It isn't always an absolute breeze, but it's always, 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 always worth it. So all we need to do is just go, do you know what, I've just extinguished that cigarette and I'm just not going to start again now. I'm just going to move on with my life, and day by day things are going to start getting easier and better for me, and I'm going to start reaping those rewards. And I'm going to do this because I am in control of my life. I am in control of my body. Nobody can make me do anything to my body that I don't want to do. And I no longer want to pollute and choke and poison myself. I hope that's made sense. I hope it's given you something to think about at the very least. As always, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. And as always, I just want to finish this video with just to tell you about a few things that you might find useful. The first is our Finding Freedom Facebook group that I've already mentioned, facebook.com/groups/findingfreedom1. I say this every week and I always have to think really hard about what the address is. So there we have this wonderful community of people at all different stages of their quit, supporting each other, cheering each other on, celebrating their successes, and also helping each other out when things don't quite go so well. The link to that is down in the description below. I also wrote a book. It is called Quit Smoking and Be Happy, available in print and ebook format. The links for this are also down in the description below. And if you've already read Quit Smoking and Be Happy and you want to go over to Amazon and leave me a review and let me know what you thought, I would greatly, greatly appreciate that. Finally, just a very quick mention that yes, I have now passed my hypnotherapy diploma. I am now practicing as a hypnotherapist. So I am available to take bookings to help people not just with quitting smoking, but things like stress and anxiety, confidence, self-esteem, and all that kind of things. If you just send me a message on the Facebook page, or you can just go to my website, and there's details on there too. Again, all the links in the description below. That's all my sales crap out of the way. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Goodbye.